Welcome back to Houston Newsmakers. I'm joined by Congressman Al Green, Democrat representing the 9th Congressional District. Congressman Green, good to see you this morning. Let's start off right off the bat by talking about what's going on with COVID-19. It is really scary right now to see the numbers that are happening in our region and our state. What are your biggest concerns about how the state of Texas is handling this and our challenges going forward?
Well, thank you, and welcome to my congressional office in Washington, D.C. I am concerned about going forward because, as you know, we're having some concerns with staffing of hospitals, not to the extent that we're having it in other states, but there is some concern in the state of Texas. I'm also very much concerned that people continue to wear the mask. I have concluded that we're in a war with this virus, and either you wear your mask and be a part of the fight against the virus, or you with intentionality don't wear it, and then you're supporting the virus. This is something that is an absolute necessity. Spacing, masking, and tracing are important to us, and I think we're accomplishing a good deal of this in Texas.
So even though the numbers are not looking good, you think we're doing as much as we can under the present circumstances at this point, statewide?
Well, I think that we're doing a lot. We can always do more because we still have some people who have decided that they're not going to wear a mask. And Dr. King was eminently correct. Life is an inescapable network of mutuality tied to a single garment of destiny. What impacts one directly impacts all indirectly. We can't conquer this alone. Everybody has to be a part of the solution. And a part of that solution is masking and tracing and distancing. We have to do these things.
Let's talk about the election. November 3rd, Joe Biden was declared president-elect by the end of the week after November 3rd. His big point during the campaign was about COVID-19. His transition team has been not been given access to White House information at this point. They're doing their own thing, but now in terms of their implementation going into next year, it's customary during transitions for a transition to happen. That's not happening this time. Any concerns about that or about a lack of a national plan for COVID?
There is concern, and there should be concern. Here's why. We are a beacon for the world in terms of how democracy should work. And as such, we should make sure that we present to the world the best image possible of what a transition of power is like. In this country, we use the ballot, not the bullet. In this country, on January 20th, one person will go onto the stage as president, and at 12 noon, another person will walk away, new president, with the codes to the nuclear arsenal. Just every bit of power is transferred from one person to the next. So we have to maintain this. I appreciate filing lawsuits. I was a judge, lawyer. File your lawsuits, but we still ought to engage in the process of transferring information. And that can happen, and it would not infringe upon any lawsuit that's been filed. So I'm very disappointed that we're not seeing this amiable, amicable transfer of information.
At this point, as we're taping this, there are many Republicans who still had not recognized Vice President Biden as president-elect. They talk about that the process has to play out before they're able to do that. Your thoughts on that?
Well, I do recognize him as president-elect, but that's a choice. That's a choice. But the truth is, on January 20th, there will be a new president. And if litigation prevails, and I don't think it will, then we'll have another circumstance. But so far, the litigation does not seem to be promising. And I think that at some point, we have to recognize that there will be a new president. All of us will have to recognize it. Many of us do already. But the law has already considered persons who will have their differences, their opinion about this. That's why on January 20th at 12 noon, there'll be a new president.
Well, let's talk about your expectations and what will be a Biden presidency. He got more votes than any other president ever, but in a loss, Donald Trump got second most votes ever in a presidential election. That means the country is still very much divided. What challenges do you think that will mean for the next Congress?
Well, the first thing I would like for my constituents and people who are not my constituents, all of whom I consider persons that I represent, is to understand that the division we see emanates from the electorate. If you elect people who have differences in opinion and you expect them to adhere to your wishes, then you have to expect to have a government that reflects the will of the people. Having said this, I'm still optimistic that we can do some things together. Example, this country needs an infrastructure bill. We have bridges and roads and rail lines and all sorts of things at airports that need to be upgraded. And we can do this while the cost is cheap, financing is not that expensive. All of the work will be done here, so there'll be many jobs created, millions of jobs, and all of the products can be built in America. So I think that we can come together around an infrastructure bill. One of the reasons we haven't been able to do it is because we have not had the earmark process. I'm an earmarks person. I want to be able to say, in Houston, Texas, this is what we need in my district. And I think other congresspersons would like to do this as well. I think we're getting close to a return to what we call earmarks. We don't want bridges to nowhere. We want everybody to have to sign your name to your earmark. But I think that with earmarks, you get collegiality, people working together on projects. This is important, especially given that we don't spend time together anymore. Everything is Zooming.
Yeah.
But this will engender the collegiality that we need to work together. A good transportation bill.
Congressman Green, we're going to talk more. We also have a Newsmakers Extra. I'm glad you're going to stick around and do that as well. But after the